For your consideration, the mysterious Loudoun Mad Stone. Have you ever heard of a Mad Stone? Some believed these mysterious stones had the ability to cure the bite of a rabid dog or snake bite, poisoning, and other illnesses. These mysterious stones were also known as bezoars, or snake stones, and many people treasured them, passing them down within their families for generations, for the supposed ability to cure illness. Loudoun's Mad Stone was well known for its ability to cure the bite of a poisonous spider or snake, often used and called on when someone was bitten by an animal, including dogs, cows, pigs, and other things, because it was believed it could cure hydrophobia, or rabies in human beings. Rabies was greatly feared for much of the 18th, 19th, and early 20th centuries because there was no cure and it meant almost certain death. To apply a mad stone, the porous stone would be stuck directly onto the injury, and it was believed it would draw the poison out like a petrified sponge. The stone would stick to the wound and would be kept there until it fell off. It would then be put into water or milk, and when the milk or water turned green, the stone would be reapplied to the wound until it stopped sticking. This was alleged to cure the illness. This process drew great attention, and for centuries, people debated whether the stones actually were magical or if they just worked as a petrified sponge, drawing out the poison. In the pages of newspapers, mad stones were often discussed, and Virginia was home to no less than three very famous mad stones. One of these was located in Loudoun County, in Bloomfield, and people beat a path to Bloomfield to take the cure. The stone was held in Bloomfield by the Fred family, and we can see on Yardley Taylor's 1853 map the location of the Fred family homestead and the Fred store. As we can see from these articles from the Alexandria Gazette, the stone was known far and wide, with people traveling from Luray, Page County, Rappahannock, Fredericksburg, and even farther to take the cure of the stone at the Freds. It wasn't a quick process, however, taking up to 15 hours for the stone to be adhered and fall off, thus effecting a cure. In 1898 and again in 1899, the Mad Stone was sold at auction, giving us a great deal of information about the stone itself. Here we can see that the stone had been the property of the Fred family for more than 100 years and was regarded as an heirloom of special value. The stone, the broadside tells us, was brought from England by the Freds in 1767, and it had been successful in all cases of poisoning by insects, reptiles, mad dogs, and there had never been a case of hydrophobia where the stone had been applied within the proper time after the injury that had not been cured. Clearly, the stone was of great value to the Freds, and they hoped that somebody would also find it of great value and purchase it at sale. Why was the Mad Stone being sold in 1898 and 1899? It was part of an elaborate and lengthy Chancery Court case. Chancery Court cases often involved wrangling over estates, and this was the case here. Eliza Woodward had passed away, and her heirs were arguing over the division of her estate. In Woodward's Administrators versus Gaiman, the stone came up as property. It had been willed to two heirs, and it was determined that it could not be shared or owned as joint property, so the stone was ordered to be sold. In 1898, the stone was sold on the steps. The sale of the Fred Mad Stone on the Loudoun County Courthouse steps drew national attention. As we can see from this article from a Colorado newspaper, people were intrigued by the stone. Its properties, as described in the article, were described by some to be merely of superstitious nature, while others hold them to be of scientific reality. And regardless, everyone seemed to agree that this small rock that had come from the stomach of an animal was of some value. Deposited in the Loudoun National Bank at Leesburg, awaiting the outcome of the auction and the Chancery Court case. The stone was being argued over by well-known lawyers, and was described as being as the color of chocolate in tint, 2 inches long by 1 broad, and a half an inch thick. It was held together by a silver band, having been broken several times. The article goes on to detail various cures of the stone and other episodes in its history, but also mentions that the stone, or a stone very much like it, had been described by Walter Scott in his novel The Talisman, giving us an idea of how long the idea of mad stones as a cure had been in culture, in Western culture. The stone was sold at auction twice because of its value. After the first sale, where it gathered about $450, it was argued that the person who had purchased it, who was Elizabeth Gaiman, had not paid a fair price, and she was ordered to offer up an account of all of the money she had earned from the stone in the interim. Here we can see how the stone affected the Fred family and the people who were offering it up as a cure by seeing the accounts of money collected. The process of the stone took some time, so people had to travel to the Freds, stay there often for several days, and were charged for food, board, and other services, including, as we can see, sitting up all night and being transported to and from the train station. Sold a second time at auction in 1899, the stone went for a good bit more money, about $682.50. It was sold to C.B. Turner, who was acting as an agent for J.C. Gaiman, another distant relative of the Fred family. What happened to the Loudoun Mad Stone after its purchase by J.C. Gaiman in 1899 is not known. However, the popularity of mad stones as a cure fell after Louis Pasteur's treatment for rabies became more popular. Although mad stones still appear from time to time in Loudoun County in news stories, they're not generally accepted as a cure for rabies or for anything other than a curiosity. So, what do we think? Were mad stones a foolproof cure or pure fallacy? Do you believe the mad stone really worked? I encourage you, if you are interested in the Mad Stone, to look up the Chancery Court case of Woodford Administrators v. Gaiman. Special thanks to Alyssa Fisher and Eric Larson and the staff of the Historic Records and Deed Department of the Loudoun County Clerk's Office for making this file available and for directing us to the story of the Mad Stone. For more information, you can find numerous articles about the stone online, read the case, and also learn more at your local library. Happy Halloween!